combining sports, music, and fashion. This is Fly Sports Talk with your host, Nelson Navarro.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fly Sports Talk. I'm your host, Nelson Navarro, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Today, it took a lot out of me to do the episode today. I did not want to do the episode today, but I feel like, I would be doing a disservice to y'all if I did not do the episode. And also, next week is my son ZJ's birthday, so there will not be an episode next week. I will be celebrating all weekend with him. But let's get into it. Let's get into the fit. So first on my head, I have a St. Louis 2006 World Series patch, gray bottom, right? And let me just say this. I know the last couple episodes, like I've had like a different type of colored bottoms. Gray bottom is the essential. It is the original. It is the alpha, the omega. When it comes to hats, when it comes to fitteds, gray bottoms are top tier. With that being said, I do, and I would, obviously, because I do have other ones. I like the pink bottoms, and I like the green bottoms as well. But when it comes to like blue and like dark blue, I would say, and like orange and like all these different types of colors of bottoms under fitteds, yeah, that's where you guys lose me. I will say this though, there was a Hat Club collection of red icy bottoms that they came out with. I want to say in 2021, around the same time they were doing all those collections, the pink lemonade, the green eggs and ham, all those. They came out with red icy bottoms that I missed on. They had a San Diego's Padres World Series patch, and oh my god, I'm so mad I missed on that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's on my head. On my shirt, I have a Nike Supreme Rugby. They just did a collab. Big Nike sign in the back. This is fire. They just did a collab with Nike for Supreme. So I had to cop this Rugby. It's super fire, super comfortable. I love the material. And on my feet, I have something simple, pair of all white Air Max 97s. Simple, kept it simple. That's it. Summertime is coming, so these will be in rotation. Can't go wrong with a pair of all whites. So yeah, let's get into it. Alex Ovechkin has done it. Alex Ovechkin has broken Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record. He did it today against the New York Islanders. He scored his 895th goal in the second period of that game and becomes the all-time leading scorer in the NHL. Now, let me tell you guys how hard it is to do that. And he has had to be in the league for over 20 years to accomplish this. So just to put that in some type of perspective as to how hard it was for Ovi to break this goal record. And also, too, I thought it was a class act by Wayne Gretzky saying and making a point for him to be in attendance to see Ovi break this record. I felt like it was a class act on Gretzky's part, and it was something that you like to see when it comes to things like that. And Gretzky also mentioned that when he broke Gordie Howe's record, that Howe was also in attendance to watch him break the record. So I felt like that's really cool. The fact that the NHL, current and former players have that type of relationship with each other where they would love to see their records get broken. Excuse me, right? They would love to see other future players accomplish things. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I honestly think that Ovi is not done. I honestly, truly think that Ovi is not done. Capitals have 5 games left in the regular season. Even though I think it's realistic to think that, Ovi might sit out some of these games, being that the Capitals have already clinched a playoff spot and that he has already broken the record. But to solidify, if it's me, honestly, to solidify that nobody else breaks that record, I'm trying to hit 900. And I honestly think if Ovi does decide to play these last few games, that he will hit 900. So It's just something to keep an eye on and to see. Like I said, the Capitals have 5 games left in the regular season, so that's something very interesting to keep an eye on. Like I said, I definitely think he'll break 900 before the season's over. And aside from Ovi, we like to give him his flowers. He did something great, but his counterpart in Sidney Crosby actually did something great as well last week. Sidney Crosby set himself apart in the NHL as the only player in NHL history to average a point a game over his 20-year career. So what that means is so basically what it is, a point is either a goal or an assist, okay? Whoever scores a goal gets a point. Whoever assists on that goal also gets a point. It's just like a stat thing for the NHL, okay? So for Sidney Crosby to average at least a point, so that means he has had to score at least a goal or an assist in every single game across his career, which is something that is, I think that is probably harder than, you know what? Let me not say that. I don't think it's harder than breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal scorer's record, but it definitely is something to give him his flowers for, because that is not something that's easy as either. To average a point a game over 20 years is incredible. That's something that's amazing. Hats off to Sidney Crosby. You know what I mean? Because he's doing great things too. That has been the conversation over the course of both of their careers. Who's better? Who's this? Who's that? But I honestly think, those two guys bring with their skill sets are very different. So what they bring to the ice and to their respective teams is very unique. I feel like Ovi is more of a scorer than Sidney Crosby is. Sidney Crosby is just more of a all-around player. So that's another argument for another time. Moving on, though. So Carmelo Anthony has been inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He becomes the first African American Latino to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. And a lot of people would, raise an eyebrow at this because Melo has never won an NBA championship. But let's take a look, over his career. He is the 10th leading scorer in NBA history with 28,289 points, and he's averaged 22.5 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. And he's also a part of the NBA's 75th anniversary team. Carmelo Anthony has also been selected to 10 All-Star games across his career. And, in 2009, he led the Denver Nuggets along with Chauncey Billups to a Western Conference Finals. Now, let me say this. When Melo got to New York, Melo has always been a great player coming into the league. I think coming into the league, him and LeBron were definitely neck and neck. Some people will say LeBron is better. Some people will say Carmelo is better. Me, personally, I thought they were two evenly matched type of players, if you can say that. Their skill set, their game was kind of the same, even though Melo was the better shooter. So a lot of people will argue that, who's better between LeBron and Melo. But I think at the time that they both came in, Melo had more success early on than LeBron did. Aside from LeBron, going to the finals with the Cavs, and he just couldn't get over the hump when he got there. So it's something that people, like I said, people will argue. That's another thing for another time. But coming into the league, after winning a national championship at Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James absolutely took the league by storm. So congrats to Melo. for being the first Afro-Latino to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. He had a great career over the course of his career, and representing us, the Puerto Ricans. I'm glad that he is the first Afro-Latino of Puerto Rican heritage to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. So again, congrats to him. Dwight Howard was also inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, alongside Carmelo Anthony. So congratulations to him, even after all the shenanigans and the fiascos and everything that he's been going through the last couple years, which has been wild. I'm not talking about it here. But again, congrats to him. And I believe that the Magic are also going to retire his jersey. Don't quote me on that. I think I saw that somewhere. I'm not sure, but that's another thing for him, to feel accomplished for as well. That's a great feat, to have your retired jersey by the organization that drafted you. So I'm gonna keep this Bozo the Clown. I'm gonna keep this Bozo of the Week thing going. This week, the Bozo of the Week, or should I say the Bozos of the Week, to me, are Yankee fans. And I say they are the Bozos of the Week because, guys, why can't y'all shut up about Juan Soto? It's like the X that you guys did wrong and that you're trying to win back, and by sending you're blocked and all that, and now you're sending emails and all that type of stuff. Just stop. Just stop. That's it. And stop calling him a sellout too. Because how can you be a sellout if you went to the team that didn't offer you the most money? When you're a sellout, you sell yourself out, or you sell out for more money. Taking less money is not the definition of being a sellout. So please, guys, stop calling him a sellout. And you guys have nothing to be complaining about. You're 6-2 to start the season. You know what I mean? And you have these torpedo bats that are helping you guys out. And let me talk about that a little bit. I know last episode I was condemning them and saying, how can it not be cheating or whatever the case may be. But I did some more research into them. Those bats are not illegal. They are actually very, very legal. And it turns out some Mets players also wear those. Also use those bats as well. So yeah, I mean, it's, you guys have nothing to complain about, and I stand corrected. You guys are 6-3, not 6-2. And guess what? With the win today, the Mets are also 6-3. So I think for both of these teams, this season is going to be a really, really good season. We're going to see how things go for both teams. But please, Yankee fans, just stop. Just stop worrying about Juan Soto. Worry about your own team. We'll see each other. We'll see you guys for the first series in May, and then we'll see you guys for another series in July. Which, let me say this: this year there are 2 3-game series this year between the Mets and the Yankees. The first one is in May in the Bronx. And the second one is in July in Queens, which I find very interesting because I thought it was just 2 games in one stadium and then 2 games in another. But this year they're actually going to play 6 games against each other, which is actually good for the game of baseball, to be really honest. I think that whenever the Yankees and the Mets play each other, and the more that they play each other, it's just entertaining and it's great for the game. Those games are always really, really good games. And imagine, just imagine that we had a World Series, Subway Series. That would be amazing. But that remains to be seen. It's something that obviously everybody would love, but both of those teams have to be surging in the right direction for that to happen. And it hasn't happened in the last 25 years. So we'll see. Let's not hold our breath, but we'll see. Okay. So Now let's go to the men's NCAA and the women's NCAA tournaments. After two epic battles in the Final Four, the stage is set for Monday night's championship game between Houston and the Florida Gators. In the first half, of the first game between Florida and Auburn, it looked like Auburn was the better team to start after they had went into the half with an 8-point lead. But once that second half started, things just flipped. Will Clayton Jr. led the Gators comeback with 34 points, grabbing 4 rebounds and assisting on 2 shots. Clayton became only the second player in NCAA history to score 30 points in the Elite Eight and semifinals consecutively since Larry Bird did it for Indiana State in 1979. After the game, in a post-game interview, Auburn coach Bruce Pearl said that the factor of the game was Clayton, and that the Auburn Tigers just couldn't defend him on the other side of the floor. He was a clear X factor. He was the one that was making all the plays for Florida, and he was unstoppable, pretty much unstoppable. In the second game, which was the better game of the night, Duke and Houston went head-to-head, and Houston pulled off a comeback, winning 70-67. So Houston was down 67-61 with just under 40 seconds left in the game. After hitting a 3 to be down 3, Duke went back down the other end of the floor and just couldn't score. It seemed like there was a lid on the basket for those last 30 to 40 seconds. Houston gets the ball back, gets a layup. Now they're down by 3. Get another stop. And they ultimately tied the game up and won it in the end, 70-67. Now, the stage is set for tomorrow night for the Florida Gators to take on the Houston Cougars. Me personally, I think that Houston is going to come away with the win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. Right now, the spread is at 1.5, which is very, very close. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida comes out and is able to pull off the win in this situation, just because both teams are so evenly matched and it's going to be such a great game. I can't honestly, I can't pick a clear-cut winner. Although I am going to go for, and I think that Houston will win, just because of Emmanuel Sharp and LJ Cryer. LJ Cryer went off last night against Duke. He had 26 points and was 6 for 9 for 3-point range. So look for him to continue that momentum going into tomorrow night. And as long as Emmanuel Sharp is also contributing, I think that the Houston Cougars are set to win and become the national champions after tomorrow night. Leave in the comments who you guys think is gonna win. Also, too, congratulations to the UCONN Lady Huskies. They have just become your women's national champions. Congratulations to Paige Buchers on finally becoming a national champion, and rightfully so. She has been one of the nation's best women's basketball players for quite some time now, and she deserves it. She deserves this national championship. And UConn, let me tell you, UConn dominated this game. South Carolina, they kept it close in the beginning, but UConn and Paige Buchers, they were just too much for the South Carolina Gamecocks, and it was such a great game and such a great thing to see for Paige to be able to finally lift that NCAA trophy, and finally in her final game as a UConn Husky, actually to become a national champion. I do feel for USC and for Juju Watkins. I honestly think that she would have been in this game had it not been for the ACL injury. But again, hats off to Paige Buchers and the UConn Huskies, right? So deservedly. So they overcame so many obstacles throughout this tournament, and were the clear-cut best teams, obviously, in this tournament. And their defense was suffocating, especially in this game today. Their defense was so suffocating. It seemed like the South Carolina Gamecocks could not do anything, especially in the second half. They just took over. And again, congratulations to UConn. Guys, that has been my show. Kind of a little early today. Like I said, I honestly wanted to talk about Ovi and getting the record. But again, that has been my show. Be on the lookout for replay threads. Shout out to them. Also shout out to Alan, my boy Alan. He was the one that got the answer last week for who was the team that Houston played in the 2005 World Series. This week I don't have any trivia or anything for you guys to give anything away. Just follow Replay Threads. Go to Replay Threads. They have all your vintage needs. They could get jerseys. They could get jackets, sweaters, hoodies, whatever you guys need. Guys, peace. Love y'all. Close to you.